Well, today we're gonna look at alternators. So I actually picked up my friend's alternator was going bad even before it went bad. I told him, dude, just watch out for your alternator. It's giving signs that it's not performing as it should and it might break anytime. 2 or 3 weeks later, he told me, guess what? I'm like, yeah, my alternator broke. And that's where you guys saw the video of me actually helping him to change his alternator, and also wasn't happy with his turbo at all. So we actually removed his turbo and then took it in for repairs and put it back in, all that kind of stuff. Alright, so just kudos to him though. He came all the way from very far, about 70-80 kilometers away, just to come and race me. I called him out. Apparently he had the fastest Audi A5 in his area. I was like, come on, even if I lose, I'm gonna call him out. We raced and I beat him. What a great feeling though. So I'll share some videos for amongst that as well a bit later. So anyway, then afterwards he asked me, let me log his car. So here is the log. Let me quickly show you guys what I picked up. Okay, so right over here is where the RPMs is. So we were at the racetrack. The racetrack's only 8.5 a mile. It's 200 meters. So we couldn't do like a third gear or a fourth gear dyno pull to get a proper log. So he was doing a first gear. He shifted up gear, so second gear, and then shifted, and then third gear. Okay, so before we go and show you guys all the figures of the alternator and that, you guys basically have to know that an alternator has a maximum charge amount and a minimum charge amount. On certain cars with bigger alternator upgrades and all of that kind of stuff, they've got their own bracket they are falling into. I'm specifically talking about the Audis and VWs currently, like the manufacturing period of like Golf 5, 6, 7, A4s, A5s, the 1.8s, the 2-liter motors and all that kind of stuff. Their minimum charge rate is basically 13.5 and their maximum is 14.5. Okay, so you've got that bracket. Not allowed to go below 13.5, not allowed to go above 14.5. So basically when I checked his voltage, it was very low, especially on wide open throttle pulls. And also one thing that I noticed is there was a lot of fluctuation, right? Let me quickly talk to you about the fluctuation that I was seeing. If you look, for example, let's say your car makes 14 volts flat, okay, and you do your wide open throttle pull, and your 14 volts drops all the way to like 12.8 as an example. That's 1.2 volts of drop. Even if you look at it, even if you go from 14 volts, it drops to 13.2. That's a 0.8 drop. That's a quite massive drop in voltage. Your car's alternator's got like a set point of always charge 14, for example, and now you're dropping by 0.8 volts, which is actually quite a lot, specifically going below your 13.5, which you wouldn't or shouldn't have gone into the first place. So let me quickly show you guys. Right over here, you can see in this blue over here, I quickly highlighted it for you guys. It is 13.20, just call it 0.20. This was basically when he was just idling, okay? 750 RPMs, he was idling. There's 13.8, okay? There's your first problem. Already is below 13.5, meaning that it's not charging enough. Okay, and then he actually basically put his foot down and, oh, wait, what was that? Let's go back. So he just, this green over here, as he was putting his foot down, it went into the 12s, okay? That's even worse. That's 0.6 volts away from where it should be. And then you can see here, it dropped to 30, it went up to 13.22, and it dropped into the 12s, 13.2, 12s, 13.2, 12s again, 12.8. So it was absolutely horrible. As he was accelerating, it just like stayed in the 12. It was like fighting 13, 12, 13. So that showed me immediately that something is not right. This alternator cannot cope. It cannot give the requested amount of voltage. He had starting problems. He had these battery voltage alarm, got to charge your battery alarm, keep on coming up, and alternator's not charging, coming up, and all those kind of things. So this was at the racetrack. And then what we did was, and he had a lot of problems. Look at that knock. So his first gear pull, he had all of this knock, second gear knock, third gear knock. So his car wasn't too happy with the file. And then what we did was, when he came to me, we actually logged his car again. So here you can see he's got some more knock over here. Here the car did something bonkers. This is the boost and the TPS, everything just dropped on his face. But anyway, we're not here for that. Right over here, so this was where it is, 13.3. And you can see there was a 12 year there, 12.8. just touching 13 days was another 12, 13, 12, 13, 12, 13, 12, all the way through to red line. Not good at all. There's a 12.7. That's not good at all. That's not something you want to see at all. So then what we did was we changed the alternator, we changed the turbo, so you guys can see this green line over here, how it dropped. That's his throttle position sensor, right? So 88.2% here is how much it is when it's fully stepped on. That's our 100%, and then here it dropped to like 23%, like it basically closed completely. Even over here, you guys can see the yellow line and the blue line were going together, and then all of a sudden both of them just dropped. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is the requested value was 1.4 bar. It was actually giving 1.7 bar. So this was a way for the car to actually close the throttle body in order to protect the motor, because it was just overboosting completely. So as it was increasing, let's quickly zoom in. So as it was increasing, the request, the actual was increasing, the request was decreasing to try and bring it down. It didn't go down, it just closed up everything, cut off power as much as it could, and etc. So here you guys can see it wasn't doing good. So then we changed the alternator and changed the turbo. We had it repaired. So here you guys can see literally this green line was his foot all the way down. There's no kind of weird bumps and going down into and all that kind of stuff. Even his yeah, you can see here that the yellow is his requested and the blue is actually making a little bit less boost that he used to do after fixing it up, doing a recondition. So he believes that the people that fix it up, they just put normal reconditioned stuff back. They didn't actually put back the hybrid things that was in there. So basically, yeah, that's how it turned out to be. But we are here for the alternator. So here it was at idle, 14.04 volts. Then he accelerated. Right over here, he put his foot down, 13.81, 13.9. This thing was like keeping 14 volts, almost 14 volts the entire way. And did you notice that here's like one of the lows I just saw, 13.70. So that's a 0.3 volts drop. That's not even like 0.8 drop or nothing of the sort. So it actually did really freaking good. Held it all the way. He let go over here and went back to 14 volts. Not bad at all. So interesting fact, the alternator broke again. His luck is just bad. But yeah, I think it was, we're not sure why it broke initially. It wasn't the install that it broke. He had it actually repaired again by a proper workshop. He had the second alternator, one we put in, he had it repaired. Apparently there was something wrong with the circuit board at the back. Yeah, if it got wet or whatever the case is, it held for quite a while and then it just said nope. It went out of the door and it broke. So anyway, he had it repaired, still running today, still making the same voltage. Everything is looking good and looking great. That is how you know if your alternator is going bad. If it charged too much, charged too little, or if the variation is too much. So with variation, I would say you don't want to see initially anything go more than 0.6. So if you're running 14 volts, you don't want to see it, or let's say 14.2 volts, you don't want to see it go below, how much is that? 13.6. Is 14.2, you don't want to see it go less than 13.6. So that means it gives you a 0.6 range of fluctuation. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope that this video helps you out. If it did, make sure to drop a big like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. But for now, peace out.